Good evening, my brothers and sisters, and welcome to another episode of A Word with Pastor Webb. I'm your host, Pastor Webb, and we have two very special couples tonight, Brother Ashley Troutman and his beautiful wife, Sister Kia Troutman. Please help me to celebrate and salute my friends. So,
Thank you.
welcome to the show. How's it
having
going?
us.
How was the trip on the road?
Thank you for having us.
How was the drive?
It was smooth for the
Smooth,
most part.
smooth.
I didn't drive. I ride
So
most
after you
days.
drove,
I,
did you
I
maintain the
do,
speed limit?
do most of the driving when we go on the road. So driving Miss Kia.
Oh, I like that. Well, we're not gonna prolong the time. What's your story? How were you guys raised? You know, rich, poor? Talk to me.
Well, I would say definitely coming from a working class family. My dad's actually an immigrant. He moved over from Jamaica in the 80s. And my mom is from a small town in Mississippi, and they met actually in Haines City around the citrus industry. My grandfather on my dad's side had a business selling uniforms to migrant workers. So my parents, you know, they worked hard. They worked in that business, went up to New York, picked apples, and kind of just moved up from there. So, I mean, it was, we weren't wealthy by any means, but we had a lot of love, and, you know, we shared what we had, and it was a good life.
Well, what part of Mississippi? My family's from Mississippi.
Oh, okay, they're from Central Newton County,
Newton County,
a
wow.
little
Mom and
town
dad
called
was from
Hickory.
Hickory. My dad was
Hickory.
from Tupelo.
I've
Mama
heard
from
of
Water Valley. Yeah.
Oh, okay, Water Valley, my granddad was
Okay.
from Water Valley.
We could be family
That's the
members.
northern part, right?
Right.
Yeah, Water Valley is exactly where my granddad is, and that's a small
Small town.
So we might be connected. He was the only child, but
Distant cousins, right?
distant cousins.
Wow. Brother Ashley?
Man, I like to describe my life in three components: God's grace, a loving family, and a loving community. God, because He's sovereign, you know, over my life. But then also I had the fortunes of being raised by a loving single mother. But my father was always present. Maybe not in the house, but he was present. I saw him work hard, get up every day, work swing shifts with the IMC mines, or now it's called, I think, Mosaic,
Yeah.
down in Fishhawk and Polk County area. And my mom worked 27 years for Lakeland Electric as a customer service and moved up as a statistician. So very, very hardworking people. She also was salutatorian of her high school class at Rochelle as well. So very intelligent she was. But similar to Kia's family, my grandparents were also migrant workers as well. So my dad had that experience of traveling the seasons, going up and down the state, and also up in New York picking apples. And my mom's mother worked in the homes in South Lakeland as a housemaid. So the movie The Help really resonates with our family because of that. My mom had to even walk out the movie theater when we went to go see that movie because it reminded her so much of the experiences that her mom had to go through. So that was us as a family. I'm a twin brother. I have a twin, and then we also have about 3 other siblings. One is deceased now, but we grew up right there in Lakeland all my life. Never lived anywhere else. So that was my growing up.
So you both came from a humble beginning.
Yes,
Right.
definitely.
And you married now. So how long you been married? And then tell me how y'all met.
What,
5 years.
Yeah, 5 years
5
now.
years now. It's been 5 wonderful years of marriage.
So when you met him with birds flying backwards?
Not exactly. No. It was a friendship that developed, which is what I wanted, to do things differently and actually build a really good foundation. So Ashley's really good at telling the story.
Well, tell the story. Tell the story.
Well, I'd like to sit back in the chair and think about the story of Ruth.
The story of Ruth.
The story of Ruth.
Okay.
Here is a strange woman,
Strange, from a strange
Ruth,
land.
that is, coming into a new land with her older grandmother Naomi.
Yeah.
And when I met Kia, she was coming from Fort Lauderdale, Broward County, coming into this strange land of Polk County, living with her grandmother over in Winter Haven.
Wait a minute. You said Broward County?
Broward.
The dirty South.
The dirty south of Florida.
That's what you want to call it.
But I saw her like Boaz did, gleaning
Oh, okay.
in the
I was
field.
working.
She was working when I first met
I
her.
love it. I
Yeah.
love it.
And got a chance to inquire of her through a friend of ours, someone that you probably remember from Mr. Fields' agency.
Okay.
Ms. Lena,
We were working together.
Okay.
at the time for a short
She
period,
and I
they
were
worked
working
together. And she told me a little bit about Kia. I invited him out to a game, and when I was coaching still, and we went out for dinner afterwards. And
With the whole like staff.
yeah,
Okay.
it was myself and 3 other coaches, Kia and also Ms. Lena, and I got a chance to see her glean over a plate of food that night.
Yeah, I was there for the salmon. and that was probably my first, maybe or second time having that Texas cattle salmon, and I actually like it.
Okay.
So I think I might have mentioned to him, can you pass me the rolls?
And then y'all made eye contact.
No, the
Kia
rolls
had-
looked really good.
Kia was not paying me any attention,
No.
but I invited them to the game so I could have the opportunity to, be in her presence.
And watch me eat.
You know. But time went on, and after that evening, time went on, and we got a chance to connect back with each other about 3 months later when she went into business for herself.
Yeah, I went
Okay.
into business for myself, and I invited him out to support my business, and he actually did come out. It was
Okay.
a beauty business back then, and he allowed me to wax his eyebrows and
What?
do his feet.
Right. I
Eyebrows got waxed?
never in my life had
Oh,
I
he
had
let
a
me torture
pedicure, had a manicure.
Oh, yeah, I could tell.
But as soon as that opportunity came, I was the happiest manicure, pedicure customer there could be.
Yes.
Wow.
And he was very supportive. He sent, friends and family, and I thought it was really nice. And, we just started talking and kind of just became friends from there. And
One of the things that I remember is on the back of your mugs here, the scriptures, Romans 8 and
That's my
28.
favorite scripture.
When I met Kia, she was going through, or in that salon setting that she was doing the facials in, she was going through some tough times, and that was one of the scriptures that Jimmy Downing had actually shared at church during that period of time, and I recited that to her, and that was a point of connection for us as well.
Yeah.
you
Okay.
know.
I wrote it on the board above my desk, and I just recited it over and over again. And yeah.
So actually, you spoke into a life.
Oh yeah, and that was something I wanted too. I
Okay.
wanted someone who was, God-fearing, and that we could talk about the Word, and
Amen.
it wasn't just about physical connection. Or
Amen.
I didn't want to be with someone that I was like goo goo gaga over the first time I see him. Like,
Right.
no, that's not good. Not to say he's not easy on the eyes. It's just, it's just not. You want your priorities to
Right.
be in a better place as you
Amen.
mature.
Amen.
As a woman, you have to look at that. It's not just about the physical.
Amen.
It's about someone that's going to be there with you and be able to talk about things in the right way. So he had that component to him, and I was watching. I just wanted to see what he was about. So I didn't rush into anything. I wanted to see if he would be there, and he stayed the
Awesome.
course. So here we are now.
Yeah. He put in the time.
He did.
I appreciate that.
And he was patient enough, and he had people talking in his ear telling him, man, I would move on. Because he actually put himself out there and asked if we could go stay, and I said, let me think about it. And we
What?
probably waited, how many months was it before we actually became official?
Couple of months, I believe.
Maybe a couple
Yeah.
months. It
Okay.
wasn't that long, but
Right.
he's a patient man.
Patient man.
And
But
he got the reward for it.
you got to remember this as well. The night of the game was in 2013. I didn't ask her to be my steady until January of 14.
Okay.
So there was a long time of getting
Wow.
to know,
Yes.
Right.
seeing her, seeing who she was, and
Okay.
having those times to exchange with one another and encourage each other
Yeah.
along the way. So it was a good friendship before it was anything else.
Yes.
Perfect.
And that's what we want.
Good. So as a young black couple, married couple, what are some of the obstacles and challenges you guys had to overcome? Been married for five years, so talk to me.
I would say for me personally, and this goes back to our community as a whole. I was definitely impacted by the absence of my father present in the house, not his
Right.
absence
Right.
physically around,
Right.
but present in the house, not getting a chance to see intimately how a man cared for a wife, how they cared for children, and so I had to pick that kind of stuff up along the way from different people, gentlemen such as yourself that I've had the chance to encounter over time. But I would say the day-to-day habits, forming that you have to do to really do that well, I think was impeded. My progress was impeded in that area because of that, and I think that's a lot of men, black men, this day. There's just not a lot of my age demographic that have seen that
Right.
coming up along the way.
So that happened with father, right?
Mhm.
Kia?
I would say some of what he mentioned as far as the not having his dad speaking into his life on a regular basis, being in the home and having that example, I could kind of see that, you know, that affected some of how our dynamic was. I grew up having my dad, not to say that my parents had the perfect relationship. They actually ended up divorcing after like 25 years of marriage, which took me for a loop. But I would say that I could see, you know, the difference, and you know, there are certain strengths that I had because I had my dad that, you know, he probably didn't have, and maybe was a little self-conscious about it. So there was definitely a need of just having patience and understanding, and just, you know, giving each other a chance to kind of grow through those different changes together. So, I mean, it's a learning process every day. It's not going to be perfect. I'm learning that being married is work. And I think it takes individual work to want to do better and be a better person yourself,
Right.
so that you can be better for the other person you're with. And just, you know, keeping each other first and the priority, I think, is critical. So the distractions, I think, sometimes as a black couple, just trying to make sure that we are able to professionally thrive, personally thrive, and be what we need to be to each other. I think that's where it gets to be kind of hard. So, you know, keeping God in the midst of it and just knowing where our hope lies has been important for us to keep moving forward.
Okay, perfect, all right. Well, give me 3 words that best describe you and tell me why. Kia, we'll start with you.
Oh, I would say resilient, because I've been through some things in my life, and I've been able to come out and still stand. I would say resourceful, because growing up from with a family that was, you know, had little means, we got creative.
Right.
So, you know, sometimes you have to get unique with how you do things and find solutions where most people would give up. And, you know, I put that into my work and everything I do. There's always something, another workaround or a way to make things happen. So I would say resourceful. The last thing I would say, 3 things. I would say I'm intelligent to an extent, not to toot my own horn, but my dad, coming from Jamaica, not having the opportunity to go to school the way he wanted to, he really emphasized the importance of education,
Right.
which I think sometimes people take for granted, because when you go to school in a third world or a different nation, you got to pay all the way through, where a lot of times we get to go and we don't even value it. So he was like, you better go to school, put your education first. It's not about being cute. Don't worry about that. Get your education, get something in your head, and everything else will fall into place. So I made that a priority throughout, because I had that influence. So I would say intelligence and being able to use my brain to figure things out has been one of my strengths.
Okay,
So
perfect. Ashley, give me 3 words.
Man, I would say number 1, faith. Again, faith not only in a supreme being, but also faith, I think, also encompasses some of the words that she just shared, resilience and persistency as well. Because in order for us to do anything, it requires us to have faith in the process that we're going through to work at it. So I think I'm a pretty faithful person, you know, someone that sticks to it and tries to see through the tough times. I would also probably use probably 2 words, but work ethic. Having a strong work ethic is definitely describes who I am. I work hard at the things that I'm a part of, the things that I do, and I try to work hard at being a husband and a father. So that's all through my life. And then finally, I would probably say faith, work ethic, and it was another word that just came to mind.
creative.
Vision, having
Wow.
vision.
Vision.
You know, visionary of some sort. Just a lot of things that I see ends up in some way happening. It's not because of me or anything, but I just think that there's vision, which also goes back to that faith. In order to make the vision happen, you got to work at it.
Right.
And so I would say those are some some good words to describe me as well.
All right.
But I like creative as well. I was thinking
We
about
have
that.
so many words, so many adjectives. We just
Creative
picked
was a
three,
good
you
one.
know, we had 100.
I like creative.
Okay, so why did you guys choose your profession?
Man.
Ashley, let's start with you first.
Mm.
And give me your title, your job title, and whole nines.
So I am a financial advisor. I'm an independent contractor with Northwestern Mutual, which is a larger organization that's nationwide, billion-dollar company. But I work as an independent contractor, serving individual clients on a day-to-day basis. I would say one of the reasons why I chose the field goes back again to that community that I talked about earlier. Being able to encounter Gal Fields and his impact that he's had on the city of Lakeland, the impact he's had on other people in his life, seeing him from afar and being a part of that industry piqued my interest in my early 20s, and it caught me during a time where I was searching for new opportunities. So I was looking around for something that I could put my skill sets and towards and work hard at, and I saw him being effective in a lot of ways, in a lot of areas that I want to be effective in, and went to inquire of him of the industry. May 9th, 2005 is the exact date that I sat down and talked to him, and he was gracious enough to bring me into his office and allow me to interview him about the financial services industry. So worked for him for about 6 years, and then from there I decided to try to do it on my own in this particular way, in this manner of financial planning, financial advising, helping people build wealth, protect the assets, but then also plan for legacy. And the nightmares that may occur in life sometimes, but being properly thoughtful and prepared for even those unfortunate situations as well. So those are some of the reasons. And autonomy of time is a big reason as well. We have the type of business where we're able to craft the business around our life and the things that are important to us, and that's a big deal as well.
Okay.
That's
Kia?
huge.
Kia?
I would say I'm a realtor as my main way of making money and providing and helping to contribute to the household. I work primarily in the industry, and I made the decision to go into it for the last reason Ashley mentioned, which is autonomy primarily, because I knew at some point we would probably have a kid, and we ended up having one. And I wanted to be able to have a little bit more flexibility with my time. The particular reason why I went that way is with real estate is I believe that everyone should have a home. There are so many studies that have been done and statistics that show that home ownership is healthy for families. It provides stability. It provides the opportunity to set some roots somewhere and just grow and not have to be all over the place. I will be honest, coming up, my parents rented for a long time, and I remember when they bought their home, I was already going into high school, and how good it felt for them to just be able to say, this is our home and we own it, and the pride that it brought with it, and the opportunity it also allows for wealth building, and how people have been able to kind of catapult and do other successful things because they have that foundation. And I feel like more families need to have that. So I figured I could be a part of the solution and bring a different perspective and help people accomplish that dream of home ownership. So that's part of it as well.
Right. So in selling real estate, what are some of the issues have you seen with people, mistakes they've made trying to buy property, real estate?
Well, I mean, I would say doing research, making sure that they are knowledgeable about what being a homeowner truly means. Not just the glamorous, I have a house and this is what I live in, but the responsibilities that come along with the actual ownership. But even before that, understanding the financial side of things, making sure that they, vet whoever they're going to borrow money from, making sure that they're getting a great interest rate, they're not being taken advantage of, they're not overextending themselves. They are making sure their credit is where it needs to be, even if they have to work on it for a little bit, so they can have an advantage, to have a better interest rate. Using the monies that they have and saving, so that they don't have to pay more than they need to borrow money.
Right.
Buying down the rate of the loan, putting more money down so that the balance is lower. Maybe even paying more so they don't have to pay mortgage insurance. All different types of little tools that other groups are using to put themselves at an advantage that sometimes we don't think about when we're going out to buy homes. And just making sure that we're good stewards over what we're blessed with. So taking care of the property and make sure it's properly owned so that it could be maybe passed on to the next generation and so forth. So there's a lot involved in it, but those are a few things.
All right. Well, actually, talk to me about financial planning. What's some mistakes you have seen that people make?
Oh man, I would say the biggest mistake, and we all make it sometimes, is procrastination. Not taking action on certain items within the scope of a financial plan as soon as possible. Procrastination on things like risk management needs, such as life insurance. You know, my sister was 39 years of age when she passed away, and left behind a 12-year-old son and no financial support for my mom, who was retired at the time.
Wow.
To give her that. You know, she procrastinated. She never made any provisions around that. And so I think that's a big deal. That procrastination also can bleed into wealth building as well. Similar to what Kia just stated, some people will choose to rent for many years, and they're basically throwing dollars away behind something that they can't get any value or asset building component from. And so not only in the housing, being able to buy something immediately, even if it's small, but also on the investment side of things, not taking advantage of time. Of the three things that you have in investment: time, rate of return, and also your contributions. The things that you can control is your contribution and the time that you have into it. And the earlier you start, the sooner you start, the better off you are long term. And then I would say lastly, just not understanding economics as a whole, not understanding the impact of credit on your long-term proposition or your long-term position, not understanding your own personal value proposition into the marketplace, and how you are able to improve your lot to grow wealth or have more income. Not understanding what is of value and what's not. We can do away without the Mercedes. We can do away without the Cadillac at age 20 or 30. You know, let's build something, or let's place dollars where it's valuable, whether it be a home, whether it be in an investment portfolio, in a insurance contract, in your own emergency fund savings. Let's build from there, because it creates more opportunities for you long term when you do that.
All right. Perfect. Now, I know you guys both probably watched the inauguration, and the young lady who did the poem, Amanda Gorman. How you feel about that? Do you think that would motivate other young blacks after they hear her?
I thought it was powerful. I think she was very poised and confident when she delivered her poem, and you know, it spoke of a lot of things that people are experiencing and concerned about, and the hope that there is as well. And I think that for other minority children to see her up there in such a large platform, it's inspiring, and it lets them know that they can do it too. So, I mean, that was just a microcosm of the bigger picture of what was happening that day, but I think it was awesome to see.
Ashley, feedback?
Absolutely, I agree with what Kia said. And whenever we see people in any type of platform, in any setting, it gives us the opportunity to dream, the permission to dream as well, and see yourself in those moments. That's what people like you do for younger guys like myself. That's what mentorship is in some ways. It can be from a distance, it can be intimate, you know, shining your light in that way is always powerful.
Mm-hmm.
But like any good sermon that you ever delivered before, it means nothing if you don't act on it.
Correct.
Yes.
And so we've got to act on
Right.
on the words, as she stated at the end. Having the confidence, I think she stated, or the fearlessness to be the light.
Right.
You know,
Right.
we've got to step
The
into
courage.
we've got to step into positions. We got to take on hard things. We've got to you know, be mindful of our families and stay in there when it gets tough. That's how we're able to be the light.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Now you talked about mentorship. Both of you guys mentor. So why is it important to have a mentor? Why is mentorship so important?
Again, I think it gives people that permission to think beyond where they may be already.
Right.
To think broader, to think bigger, to think more long term. And when you see someone that has walked the path, you feel like you can walk it as well. It just gives you more confidence when you are surrounded by people of influence that are doing positive things, that are speaking positive things into your life. And so that's why it's important for us to always look and see who's around us and who we can impart things into.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he said it all.
He said it all.
Yeah. But I would agree, and I would say that it gives hope. It helps. You know, you just never know where someone may be at mentally, and
Right.
sometimes it's coming alongside that person and saying, "You can do it. I believe in you. This is what I've gone through, and this is what's worked for me." Can save that person some headaches and heartache. And if they're willing to be mentored, you never know what they can accomplish. So it's a beauty. It benefits not only the mentor, the mentee. It's just great for everybody. You get to impart knowledge and wisdom and show some love to somebody else. And that other person gets to be the benefactor of
Right.
whatever it is that you have to offer, those gifts. We can't take it with us, so we need to share it with somebody else. So that's how I see it.
Right. Now, someone could be watching the show and thinking you guys are perfect.
Mm.
Now tell me, what are some of the mistakes you guys have made in life, and tell me how you were able to overcome it.
Man,
For me, can I start?
sure.
All right. I would say not really knowing my worth, my value when I was younger, in my early 20s, and probably just spending more time than I should have on things that weren't important, that weren't going to uplift me or take me anywhere, whether it be the company that I kept, you know, people that I thought were friends that weren't,
Right.
or people I may have dated that weren't really worthwhile dating.
Mhm.
I mean, you learn through it all, but you know, in hindsight, it's 2020. I would say I would have probably spent my time a little differently, just learning more and growing in certain areas, so that I'd be maybe a little further along than I am.
Okay.
You know, I like the the perspective flip that Kia just gave, you know, when she talked about you learn from it,
Right.
you know, because those mistakes are those learning opportunities for us. And we're still making mistakes.
Right.
You know, I'm making mistakes right now, you know, as of this week. It was such a turbulent one of mistakes.
Was it? Like, bam, bam, bam.
Right.
And I'm
So-
just like,
I think the biggest, some of the, no real big grand ones, but some small ones along the way that.
Combination of.
Exactly. Mine that I make a lot is not being as intentional as I can be with time, you know, and that goes to the present time, but then also planning for the future as well. I can remember times in my 20s where I didn't take as full advantage of that time to develop and grow as much as I could have.
Right.
Even though I've gotten some neat things accomplished, been a part of some great things, there's still those intentionalities that I wish I could go back and do better at. So that intentionality of time is a big one for me sometimes.
Time. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Next question. What is the one thing that some may know about you, but others may not know about you, that you want to share with us today?
well, that's a good one.
Many people, even though unless you know me from you know, my past, there are some people that don't realize that I'm a twin.
Okay.
That's a neat one. When I walk on campus, my twin brother is a teacher and a football coach, and when I walk on campus, sometimes they'll look around like, who is that?
Double take.
That's Coach Troutman's son. No, that's I'm his twin brother.
Not the
you know.
son.
Not the son. So he went
Man.
over. Yeah, oh, okay, I got you.
You know, he out in the sun all the time.
Oh man, I hope
blowing
he's
the
not
whistle,
watching this.
face get a little weather beaten, you know.
Oh,
And he shaves his head, so that makes you look a little
Right,
different.
shaves his head, keeps the goatee. I kind of clean. I
Clean
go
up.
opposite.
Yeah.
He
Keep
did
hair on
opposite.
here, no hair here, you know. So
Mm.
I like to, like Kia said, I play piano a little bit. I've written some poetry that's been published myself.
so piano, you do, okay, poetry.
Yeah. I like to.
Creative side.
We like to dance.
Yeah. Well, some people know that about us now.
You a dancer? You a dancer?
He likes to dance.
Well, you mean MC Hammer kind of dance?
No,
like-
more like ballroom type.
Ballroom dance. You know, yeah. Ballroom dance.
Salsa. Yeah.
What?
That's him. That's all him.
Boy, look at him.
He
go.
says I don't want to follow instruction. Yeah, so that's something about Ashley.
So what kid talk about you? Yeah.
I don't know. I guess maybe I've worked in the entertainment world a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
done that and got a chance to see it
She's been an
behind
extra.
the scene. Yeah, I worked as an extra, did some acting. And,
What is the extra? Fill in?
kind of like someone to fill in the background
Okay,
space.
okay.
There's different levels to it, just for different production, movies, TV shows. Did a little bit of modeling here and there, but got a chance to kind of see the world and see if I liked it or not.
Okay.
You know, you really got to be passionate about it because
Right.
that's a whole nother world,
Whole
the
nother world.
industry that
Right.
will eat you up if you're not sure who you are and so forth. So,
Okay. Well, what part has God played in you guys' success?
everything.
Mm-hmm.
Because some days I don't know where it's going to come from.
Amen.
You know, the business or things might be looking a little slow sometimes and somebody will call. And I know it's God. It's just having faith that He'll provide. If you do the work, you know, He'll provide. You have that faith. So I've seen it time and time again. So that's where I would, and just giving me the change in my heart.
Right.
Let's say, changing my heart
Right.
so I could deal with whatever comes my way. It's so much better and have that love and compassion for people, whereas maybe the old me probably would have been less patient
Okay.
because it's needed.
Yeah.
When we do the work that we do, we got to have that.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Ashley?
Yeah, same. I mean, I've mentioned it a few times in our time together so far. I mean, his grace, his sovereignty is a big deal in my life. And as you continue to get older and you mature, one of the things I like to do is just to look back and you see his hand all over it.
I
You
look
know,
back.
you see.
So in other words, as you look back over your life.
Where He has brought us from.
Yeah, there it is.
The
Don't
connection,
preach on them, man.
the dots that gets connected, you know, the people that you meet that opens
Yes.
up doors to this. You know, if I never had the, I mean, even right here, all of this right
All
now.
is. Just
I'm in
all.
the 6th grade or 7th grade, and here comes Reggie Webb in his 1992 Toyota Camry or
It was a
Corolla.
Sunburn.
Sunburn.
Yeah, sunburn.
You know,
Bird.
Sunbird.
Not a bird.
Yeah.
coming up to the PE courts while myself and my brother and Melvin and Adrian, we're all out
Oh,
there
boy.
playing basketball, and he comes and calls us out to be part of the STARS program. And I mean, look at this. We're here today because of that connection,
Relationship,
that
yeah.
relationship.
It's beautiful.
So, I mean, he's all over it.
All
you know?
over.
God is good, Doc.
Absolutely.
Amen.
Now, what is the one thing or a couple of things that you're most proud of in your life? If you had to choose one thing, what's
Proud of.
Proud of. You just proud of.
I would say being able to finish school.
That's good.
That was work. It took me a long time to get my degree. I was the first one in my immediate family to do it.
Right.
My parents, like I mentioned, my dad coming from another country. I remember when he got his GED, how happy he was. And he came to the graduation and he was so emotional.
Wow.
It was just powerful. I would say that's one of the biggest things I'm proud of, even to this day. Even if I don't use the degree, I'm just proud that I was able to do it, because I
Amen.
knew how hard it was.
Amen.
Because when you don't have those people before you to show you the way,
Right.
it's work.
Right.
It's a lot of work. So I would say that, and of course my son.
The son, right.
But you know that the degree is.
Baby boy. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Ashley?
Yeah, I would say, going back to that comment regarding absence, you know, the fact that I'm present in the house with my son, but also even more important for me with my wife, because I think that is a great window for other minority couples to see, and having the opportunity to be involved in some of the things I'm involved in
Right.
from a community standpoint. I think that's a big deal. You know, I'm present, I'm public, and they can see that, and that's important. I think that's important to me and my family.
So if you could trade places with one person, Kia, for one day, who would that be?
I'm gonna let you go to Ashley, and I'm
Okay,
gonna get back to you.
you. Yeah.
Don't put me on the spot.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
Who would you
Wow.
be, Ashley?
Man, I would say it would be interesting to. The one that's coming to mind right now is two people. One is Senator Tim Scott out of South Carolina. It'd just be interesting to see his life. But the one that I've held more dear to for longer is Magic Johnson.
Oh, yeah. Magic.
Just because Magic, I've always admired his countenance and how he led, with energy, enthusiasm, vision, hope.
Right.
You know, that's how he led. That's how he played the game, and I always was excited about that. He was multiple. He could play multiple positions. I always feel like I can do all kind of stuff. You know, my wife keeps reminding me that I'm not right, Superman. I can't do everything, but he was just versatile.
Right. And also off the court.
Off the court,
As well.
entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Right. So he involved in multiple things, and we always talking about these different business ideas, and you know, I can see myself having hand in these different spaces or whatnot. So he's one that definitely comes to mind.
All right. Kia, back to you.
All right, I'm gonna say former First Lady Michelle Obama.
Okay.
A lot of people would say that I kind of looked like her back when I had longer
Yeah,
hair.
right.
I heard it so much.
Right.
But I'd be interested in, I read her book, Becoming, and I found it to be just so beautiful, the story of her life
Okay.
and the influence that she's had. We have some similarities as far as interests.
Okay.
So I said, you know, maybe that'd be kind of cool, just for a day.
Just for a day.
Because I know everyone has their own struggles. I don't want to take on hers. But,
Okay.
but yeah, I think that'd be cool, just
All
for
right.
one day.
All right. So if you had one wish for the Ashley, what would it be?
One wish?
Yes.
Man,
Just one.
Just one wish. Just
Oh,
one
wow.
wish then.
We don't get three.
that's a tough one right there.
It is hard. I thought about that.
One wish.
Mm.
If I had one wish.
Please don't.
What was
You
that?
know you're being recorded,
I
right?
know.
Okay. You trying to get a
All right,
record deal?
I'm gonna do what you just did to me. I'm gonna throw it on you
Oh,
first.
Yeah,
See how it is? That's
And
the fun
then
of being
come back to
married,
me.
right?
Right.
You got somebody
Pass
to
it
throw it
on.
on. Just
Yeah.
pass it on to. One wish. There would be no more suffering,
Okay.
no more disease, no more pain, no more just death. Just
Yeah.
everyone would just be alive and well.
Yeah,
As
okay.
long as they're good. We don't want people living too long that's not going to be nice.
All right, Ashley. One wish.
Man, she went to the Miss America pageant. Man, just one.
Just one wish, Doc.
You just get one.
I would say that people, no matter where they are, no matter what community that they are in, can walk confidently and securely down the streets and in the places that they live.
Yeah, okay. Perfect.
No judgment,
No judgment. Okay.
no no looking over their shoulder, or who may or may not be looking to do something to you. But that would be a big wish.
All right, perfect. All right, as we bring this to a close, do you have any closing remarks or words you'd like to leave with the audience? Any closing remarks?
I would say, hold on to dear friends. I would say, be patient with the people around you. Be patient with yourself. There's a tapestry that's being woven that you just haven't gotten a chance to see the finished masterpiece.
It's beautiful.
And continue to dream and be hopeful and enthusiastic about
Life.
where you're headed. You know.
That was wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with him. Just be, continue to be hopeful about life and wake up like a child, just with wonder about the opportunities and what there is to explore and learn. You can never stop learning.
Yeah.
And don't give up on yourself. Give yourself an opportunity to continue growing and prospering in every way, and just keep God first, like priority. Make sure you know your priorities and put those things first that should be.
Okay. Last question. What's the best talk show in the land?
Of course.
A Word with Pastor Webb.
God bless you. Appreciate that. Thank you for tuning in once again. Hope you enjoyed the show. Until next time, may God bless you real good.